Good morning and happy Sabbath to everyone. Let's hope the mic works. If not, Pastor Pua, Albert Pua, who taught me when I was young, that we have to learn to project our voice. Okay, right. I'm glad to be here today to worship with you. I think this is the first time I'm preaching in the church that I grew up with. Probably sounds like the Bible text Luke 4:24, and the prophet is not accepted in his own village. But anyway, I'd like to thank Pastor for giving me the opportunity to preach today. Acknowledge the presence of a lot of people who I knew when I grew up, but I'd like to welcome my friend from US, Timmy. Thank you for being here and worshiping with us, even though his home is in Sarawak. Today, I'm going to talk about two things. Both of them are passionate in my heart. One is what I do outside of my working hours, and that is missions. And hopefully, this will inspire some of you. Number two is something that I like to do every day. Read the Bible, read a story. I have three characters in the Bible that I admire and I go through every time. Apparently, those are all young people. The story of Joseph, the story of Esther, and the story of Daniel. I grew up with these three characters, and I probably will end my life with these three characters because there are so many stories that we can gather from them. Today, I will share something about missions. Many ask people, why do we do missions? And I think I come from the Bible text, which says, this message shall be preached to the end of the world, and then shall the end come. How many of you want to stay in this world for a very long time? But there's a twist to this question. How many of you want to die early? If you want to die early, sure, go ahead. Do whatever you want to. That's why my job in the Wellness Center is try to make them live as long as possible in this world. Yesterday, I had a very interesting discussion with a guy. He says, 60 years old, count him. Enough. I want to die at 60 years old. I don't know how many of you here are 60 years old. Above 60 years old. Thank you, Merv. Above 60 years and said, this is the end of my life. Is it? And I said, maybe in an Asian mind, in an Asian thought, yes, 60 or even 70 is enough. But when you go to America, when you go to Europe, you see them living 80, 90, 100. When I was staying in Loma Linda, the neighbor, 99 years old, still teaching, 3 days a week, go to school, mark English paper, travels all the way to the West Coast, 4 hours to see her 3 children because she stays alone in the house. 99 years old. I am like, wow. And it's not just only her. There's so many people in Loma Linda who lives at a very long life. And I think that's a very important concept here is that we need to live long, but we don't want to live in this world forever. We're waiting for Jesus to come. And I felt that the health message is one of the most important tools of evangelism. It's the most important tool of evangelism. It is for that fact that I actually became a doctor. When I was in Form 6, I was in double maths in St. Xavier's, trying to become an engineer, trying to become a maths teacher because I was quite good in maths. In fact, I was giving tuition to some of the students in the church for Form 5 maths. I was trying to be, and Ronald Cole, where is he? Is he here? Comes to me and says, Edward, you're good in your studies. Why don't you become a doctor? I said, no, cannot. I cannot become a doctor because I'm a double maths student. I don't want to become a doctor because I don't like biology. Form 6, okay? This is already where most of your formative part of your education is already completed. And I said, no, I don't want to be. And still, that thought of mine is, what am I going to do when I become big? Besides becoming a maths teacher or becoming an engineer, my thought was to become a professional footballer. I was semi-professional at that time, okay? Playing for a football club, going for state training at that time. And I said, wow, Maybank wanted to employ me as an employee, so I will work half the day in the bank and the other half play football. And I was thinking, wow, should I do all these type of things? And at that time, my pastor was Pastor Simon Siu. I admire him for taking care of us when we were young and giving us all these little classes or discussion after church. And I came to my point and says, okay, I'll take medicine. But where am I going to do? I asked my principal in St. Xavier's. He says, you cannot come back. You fail also, you cannot come back to Form 6 in St. Xavier's. Alamak, where to go? My sister at that time, Esther, was studying in SAC. So to study in SAC, bit expensive. Okay lah, easy way out, go to India. bit cheaper. To make the long story short, it was a tough time because I didn't know even until first year medical school what is a vein and what is an artery. Okay, that is how tough it was for me in medical school. But perseverance took me. I felt health message is a very important part, and that's why I said I became a doctor. Why missions? I think mission is one of the ways we let other people know of God, whether directly, straight away, or like as was discussed in the Sabbath school lesson today, or indirectly. Maybe people know you as a doctor, and later on they will ask you why you practice certain things. It's a time when you can do seed planting and introduction to God. Health message is the best way, and you can reach everyone. Muslims, Hindu. Yesterday, a nice discussion with a Muslim guy about his health practices and how he can become better. And in the middle of it, the topic of God came up. And we had a good discussion over there. Long terms, making disciples out of people. There is a need for missions because there are certain places in the world where there's no doctors, there's no nurses, and you are the only one. Are you willing to go? Vietnam, they want to hold health camp, health expos, but they don't have a single SDA doctor in the whole of Vietnam. And the government says that if you want to have a health expo or health mission, you need to have a doctor. So I went there in about 2008 or 9. I first went there, and when I was introduced, after that, every time I keep going to Vietnam. And before I go, 1 month before, I have to send my credentials so that Vietnam government can credential me as a doctor to hold health camps. Just imagine, no nurses. The 3 nurses that I met in Vietnam, studied in US, came back, stayed with the family, and after that, go back to US. They have not stayed in Vietnam. So Vietnam doesn't have any nurses or doctors to help them with their health ministry. Bonding, health mission trips, let me tell you, is a time to know your church members in detail. Okay, in detail. Here we see everybody Saturday, hi, how are you, happy Sabbath, that's it. But here for 6 days, 5 days, 4 days, we see them. We know what their practices, how they eat, how they interact, how they help others, and getting to know members around the world. I will show you some of the mission trips that I've been to. This is my trip, my first time I took the church, the Penang Adventist Hospital Church, for a mission trip to China. And Wuxi is near Hangzhou, middle of China. The dental team, we went together with Loma Linda Chinese Church, so the dental team brought their whole equipment, so they did both scaling, they did extraction, they did fillings, everything, all free of charge. Who doesn't want to go to see a dentist free of charge? Okay, and the whole equipment is there, full team, 3 dentists, 2 dentists, and the rest of us became dental technicians. So sometimes I would scale half a day to scale people's teeth. The church is called Zion Church. There is a wonderful story to this. If I tell you the story of this, my sermon hour is over. But let me tell you, it's a wonderful church. 4,000 church membership, okay? 4,000 church members over here. When do they worship? This is the group that went. In the morning, this church here, both down and upstairs, the pillars, actually wanted to build a small church. The government said, no, cannot. If you build a small church, we will not give you, because the government gave the land already. We will not give you this land. You must build a big church, because China was trying to project it as a place where it's growing, you know. This, I think, was 2000, when was the church built? 2007. So you have to build this big thing. You know what people do to build this church, the church members? They will sell their house. 70% of the money that they sell, they give it to the church. 30% they give it to themselves. Life insurance, they sell out their life insurance. 70%, you know, I thought 40% they keep to themselves. 70% they give to the church. And 30% is for themselves. And the government made it so strict that you cannot collect funds from outside of China. Wow, even worse. So General Conference even couldn't give money. So everything was done inside. Church was so interesting. Starts at 7:30 in the morning with Bible study. They will come. There will be a few of them sitting down there. It's actually Daniel Revelation. It goes on. They will sit down there 7:30 to 8 o'clock. Then after that, church service goes on from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Why? Because so big, so they divide the church according to the elders. One elder will take care of the first 300, 400 members. The next one, 300, 400 members, and so forth. And that's how the church is. This is during one worship hour. Choir, fantastic. They had to employ employ a non-SDA music student to teach them choir. So on Sabbath, after 4 o'clock, when the whole church finished, this whole choir members will sit down and that choir director will come, teach them music, and they sing well. So that's the church. Beautiful church. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, all the elders of the church are ladies. You talk about women power, China, fantastic women power. And this is the elder of the church. And her husband is not an SDA. She is an elder of the church, and she was the one that told us the whole story behind this thing. We were so inspired. We thought we went for a mission trip to give them something, but at that mission trip, we learned so many things that we need to give also. This is the group that went, a mixture of us from the hospital church and the US team. We also went to see part of the Great Wall of China. We had a visit to the Run Run Shaw Hospital, which had a collaboration with Loma Linda University. Still have, I'm not sure. And that is Run Run Shaw Hospital. Next, we went to India, Northeast India, 2013. Only 4 of us went. Let me see, 4 of us. And I got 2 recruiters I recruited 2 people from India. So we went to Manipur, Northeast India, very cold. Again, dental extraction and scaling for the kids. This is our dorm for 5 days. We stay in a dorm, so no hotel. Stay nicely in the dorm. And it was very cold, February, so cold. I have to use like 3 blankets to cover me at night to sleep because it's so cold. Okay, that's our bathroom. Common, no luxury. Basically, I'm trying to tell you that when we go for mission trip, sometimes don't expect any luxury, no hotel, no 5-star hotel, nothing. All of us sometimes have to rough it out. And this is the countryside of Northeast India. As we were going, sometimes there'll be sentry guards because this is next to fighting areas. And so they will ask us our passport, what are you doing here, and all these type of things. Yeah. This is the government hospital in India. Nice hill-run beds for people who are in the hospital, is it? No way. Nice hard beds, 10-bedded hospital. That's part of the dental team. And this is the village. Beautiful scenery of Northeast India. And I had to work until 9 o'clock at night. When I do mission trips, I think I do even more work than I do in the Adventist hospital here. I start about 9 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes it goes until 9 or 10. No lunch break, no tea break, no coffee break. Just go and see, because as you break, more people are coming. So you need to clear the crowd. And so at that particular day, 2 nights, we didn't have electricity. So everybody had to generate genset, bring up the torchlight, and I had to see patients at night. This is, I'm not sure, you look at his face, he looks familiar, but he is not Samuel Chua. He's the brother of Samuel Chua, Dr. Daniel Chua. And most of my mission trips, we do medical work in the morning, and in the night, we do evangelism. So Daniel was preaching at night. And this is the church people that came. Glad to see a lady weaving this thing. And these are the students that stay in an Adventist school that was run by an Adventist teacher in Northeast India. The students, dental care, this is our team. 3 of us and 2 from India. Oh, they are very colorful. And we went during the time of Harvest Festival in Northeast India. Superb time. And the picture, wow, we were treated like royal guests because we were sitting down there and suddenly they said, may the guests come to the front. And we were wondering who the guests, and people came and ushered us right to the podium. So, royal treatment. And this is the canteen of that hostel of that school. Okay, that's the group. Next, India, 2014, last year, we went to Bombay. Why do we go to Bombay, you might ask? It's interesting. We, of course, part of the group, we went to the place where Mahatma Gandhi was. Again, royal treatment. We were part of the crowd. This was a festival, Hindu festival. We were over here, and suddenly somebody says, hey, this group comes to the front. The member of parliament of that area called us to come to the front. That's a picture over there. Asked us to come to the front, and we witnessed all this celebration that was going on. So that was a very interesting thing. Here, we went to the slums. You have heard of Slumdog Millionaire, but now is the first time in my eyes. Of course, I see it by the side every time when the train goes where the slums are. But with my 2 eyes and my 2 feet and my nose, we go right to the heart of slumland and treat them. And the interesting, this pastor has been asked by the church to stay in the slum area for 5 years. You know what is a slum area? Ayo, Very small, man. Half the size, maybe about this stage. Maybe about this stage. That's it. Kitchen, bedroom, living room, everything all over there. And he's got a family of 4 children, all staying over there. Wow, I tell you, my heart goes to this pastor who goes and serve in this slum area. So we were to help the people there, and if there was any problem, the pastor would straight away come. They're not SDA pastor, by the way. They come and they say, what can we do? What can we do to help him? Can we bring him to the hospital? Can we bring him here? Okay. And that's what, it was an interesting thing. And so we went to a place where a lady opened up a mission for just single ladies or single moms and abused ladies in Bombay. This is part of the group. We also go to Vietnam, as I mentioned. Dr. Nelburn, me, and my 2 nurses, Velma and Jewel. Todd Block. Okay, anyway. This is the group. Vietnam Mission, they train so many people in the church to do Health Expo. But without us doctors, they cannot run it. So therefore, we have to go. I tried to get other doctors to be involved. None. So finally, every time, last minute, Vietnam Mission said, Dr. Edward, we need you to come. Can you come, please? Okay, come. I'll go. Even though no leave, I'll take no pay leave and I will go. Okay, this is the nurse as I was trained from US, came back, stayed with the family for a while, asked us to stay back, maybe the mission to support. But she said she wanted to go back to US. So we went to Syrian. Where is Belinda? Belinda is here. Belinda's father said, hey, can you come and help us out in Syrian church? So, yes, Edwin Ko over here, me, my wife, and Julie. Yeah, so we went last year, December. Nice trip, right, Julie? 4 days, I think. We will have the morning free, but afternoon from 3 o'clock right up to about 10 o'clock at night. Mission trips right up to in different churches in Syrian. Garden Grove, I only have a small picture. This was this year, May 2014 in Sabah. This boy, I delivered 21 years ago with my hands. So I was happy to see him. He's a scholarship holder of JPA's, JPA, right? And he's going to Australia for chemical engineering next year. So I'm very proud to see him. This was the last girl that I delivered with my hands. Okay, there's a long story to her, but I'm so glad she's married now and she's got this thing. By the way, this mission trip that I went, at the end of the mission trip, 300 or 3,000? I think it's 3,000 baptism on that Sabbath day. Yeah, it's not 300 because there were so many. So many people got baptized. 20 pastors in the river. I didn't have the picture over here. 20 pastors in the river going on, baptism going on for about 3 hours. Whew, fantastic. And again, Vietnam Mission. This time we went to Da Nang. This was a new church they had just built. Pastor Francis Lajanin preached again in the evening and and we did the health evangelism in the morning and the checkups. Sarawak, just last month, we went to Tatao. I always hear about Tatao because of my wife reading the storybook, Naila and the White Crocodiles, if you all have read that when you were small. And of course, Dr. Sinaga comes from there. So I was eager when I heard that we were going to Tatao. Yes, went by boat, 35 minutes, 40 minutes on this boat ride. Everybody was wondering, will the boat turn over? The boatman says, don't worry, never turn over, okay? And yeah, so there were about 12 of us in this trip. And all my mission trips is not only Adventist. I also have non-Adventist nurses who come. The last one was actually the most. I have about 7 non-Adventist nurses. In fact, 3 of them from Falim Church are non-Adventist. And all of them came and enjoyed our mission trips in Sarawak. At night again, no pastor, so I became a semi-pastor and preached, of course, about health message. And this is the cultural thing that we have at night. Today, I'm going to spend another 5 minutes, very fast, because I want to spend a short spiritual part. The first part is about mission. I hope you are inspired to do mission. That's why I'm so inspired. I will go for any mission trips that I can. The next one we're going to have is in June 24th to 31 in Chiang Mai, Thailand. We're going to go together with the US team over there. I will talk about a part of I learned about my lessons, about my Bible study. And Dr. Dickey already read out the scripture reading. By itself, it's a sermon. If you read by itself, it's a sermon. But let me bring out some salient features. The king had a party. Basically, he wanted to show off his kingdom. You know, sometimes when we are proud, we have parties, okay? And this party was very long, 6 months. Can you imagine Malaysia's celebration for 6 months? Woo! 1 MDB, we got celebration for 6 months. And then 7 days parties, particularly for the Sushets. At the end of the 7th day, basically it's all self-exaltation and self-indulgence. I think that was a discussion that we had in the lesson study today. What was abundant? Drinks. And when drinks are abundant, what information do you get out of it? Have you spoken to a friend who is drunk? Man, they sound very good, they look very good, but you know something is not right. This year I'm 50 years old, proud to say I'm 50 years old, and I had my reunion, school reunion. In fact, I had 3 times school reunion, because 3 different parts of my classes, one is the science class, one is the whole thing, and one is the small upper 6 science ones. 3 reunions, and when I go for my reunions, definitely there's a small group of guys who are drunk. And when they are drunk, their conversation, their thought processes, everything is wacko, out of order. And this is what drinks does to you. What do you want? I will talk about influence a bit later. Just let me finish the salient features. And therefore, when he was a bit drunk, he called for his beautiful queen. And the queen was trying to protect the king, and because he was drunk, he says, no, I won't come out. Regret doing it. Sometimes when you do certain things, you do it, and then at the back, hindsight, why did I say that? Why did I go there? Why did I do these things? And hopefully that you will learn from those hindsight. But this is where we have to learn now forward. When you go forward next time, when you drive a car, I'm sure some of you have met with accidents. I've met with 3 accidents now, and I'm very careful. My first accident, I was driving in Sabah, and I was coming out, I was looking, no car there, and boom, bang. I banged into the bus berhenti. You know why? Because the bus first berhenti, take up people. So I stopped behind. Then after that, he was going out. So I thought, no, he's going already. I look at the side, none. I go, he berhenti lagi sekali. So bang into him lah. And said, your fault, this is bus berhenti. For those people who don't understand, this is a bus that stops often. And that's what happened in certain places. So I bang into it. Now I'm so careful. Even in Rapid Penang, I'm very careful when I'm behind a bus. Because of this accident thing, hindsight maybe, that what happened before, that I won't do it again in the future. I like this part here. Vashti made a moral stand. And she suffered for it. Sometimes we have to make a stand. And it's a moral stand. Are you going to stand for it? Or you say, never mind lah. It's okay lah, close my eyes lah. No need lah. My friends are more important. I have to go out with my friends. They're all very important to me, so I have to go. Moral issues. And sometimes we have to make a strong moral issues. King Ahasuerus became very angry when he was looked down in public. And so, where did he sought counsel from? He's already a bit drunk, and he was angry because the queen doesn't want to come out. So, who does he seek counsel from? He seeks counsel from his drunkard friends or counselors. They're also drunk. So can you imagine sometimes when you do not have a sound mind and you do not get a proper advice, consequences will happen. She was stripped of her title. Actually, for my wife, she was proud that Vashti was stripped of her title because she stood firm. And I agree, we need to stand firm for things that we think are right. So, substance that can influence our mind. Nowadays, I read a sermon once that says, the battle today is not about Sabbath. The battle today is not about spirit of prophecy. The battle today between God and man is the battle of your mind. Who influences your mind? What influences your mind? Drinks, drugs, diet. I can have a whole sermon about diet, and I thought I wouldn't cover it today because all well-educated people in the clinical field. But there is a whole sermon on diet by Ellen White saying that if you indulge in diet, you do not allow God to speak to you. People, who are you receiving counsel from? Children or parents? Children go to the supermarket and ask for ice cream, 5 years old, 6 years old. What does the parent do? Okay lah, give lah. The next day, go to the supermarket again, ask for ice cream and chocolate. What the parent do? Give lah. And what does the children do when they grow up? They blame the parent. I still remember in my obesity class, 2 girls who were very obese said, I blame my parents because they did not take care of me when we were small. They just let us eat, and became obese. Now when they want to become slim, very difficult. I think parents, we have the knowledge. Yes, there is some rewards. Yes, we can have some ice cream. But who has the knowledge? Who has the important knowledge? Is it the parent or the children? And this is the part where I always tell parents, you need to control your children sometimes. Easy for me to say because I don't have any children. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm on the other side of the fence. But I always like to say, looking at the whole picture, that we always need to know that people who have knowledge, we need to respect them. And parents, I still remember arguing with my father for certain things. Now hindsight, sorry, not hindsight, whatever happened before, I said, yay, I am glad that my father disciplined me in certain things. Teachers and students. My friend who's a teacher now says, students are so difficult because they demand and they say that they are right. Can you imagine students teaching? Professionals and unprofessionals. Just these past 2 days, my classmates who are not doctors is advising one person to go for gallbladder surgery. Dang, 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 dang. And who is he? He's an engineer. Asking him to go for gallbladder. And 5 of us who are doctors kept quiet. Not commenting anymore. We are just laughing at how these people are all telling him whether to go, not to go, what's the pain, what's the consequences, how is your blood test, is the alkaline phosphatase? Wow, just imagine engineers also know alkaline phosphatase. Is it high or low? Wow. I was so amused by that. Who do you seek advice from? Professionals or unprofessionals? Godly man or godless man? Because of time, I bring out some little research that I found out in the past 2-3 days. Drinking large quantity of beer is good. Woo! Sapporo Medical University 2012. Interestingly, this is supported by Sapporo breweries. Night owls are prone to getting fat. Korean University of College of Medicine 2015. So you study at night, students, you're prone to getting fat. Is it true? Dieting makes you fat. University of Melbourne. The 3-second rule, you know, when you drop a food, suddenly, ayo, nobody see, take out 3 seconds. It is legitimate. Legitimate. Oh, legitimate. Legit, okay. Manchester Metropolitan University, 2012. Interesting studies. In fact, they say if you drop anything that is hard, is good. If you drop pasta or meat, not good. Klebsiella will come out more. So we have to read the studies and find out what is interesting. The optimal number of friends in an info age. Interesting, the research paper is only 1 page. All the equation, I still cannot find out the answer. What is the optimal number of friends needed in an info age, informative age? Is it 3 friends that you need, 5 friends that you need? And this was a research paper, can you imagine? So sometimes are we influenced by research? And the last, lately one, WHO says if you consume processed food, you are prone to getting cancer. Processed meat, sorry, I must correct myself. Processed meat. And therefore, Adventist Review, October 30th, just yesterday came out with this article saying that Ellen White predicted this 120 years ago. Why are we still eating processed meat now? And if I'm not mistaken, yesterday, some people say, no, there's a twist to it. But let me ask you, where do you get your knowledge from? What are you reading? What are you putting into your mind? Are you putting God's knowledge or are you putting knowledge from the world? How much time do you spend with God? How much time do you spend with people who spend time with God? How far are you away from bad substances? I would like to live today with an incident or an event that happened this week, which I share with some of you. As a doctor, we treat people. We don't see baptisms in our lives. I don't think I've seen anybody who's directly baptized by me. But indirectly, I think we influence people. Are you giving positive or negative influence? Today, this week, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I had a call from a friend of mine. He is the professor he's in charge of the undergraduate studies in University Science Malaysia. Sometimes we speak fast. Things tend to slip from your tongue. Undergraduate studies of medical studies of the medical field in the University Science Malaysia. He is a Muslim, okay? I just met him this year because in February I went for a conference and I met his student. And I said, oh, I remember your prof. He was my friend when we were doing housemen 21 years ago. 21 years ago. Shall I get in touch with him? And I got in touch with him, went all the way to Kelantan to see him, spent one day with him, and came back. Okay? To this week, Monday, I think it's Monday. I don't know. You all got the mail on Tuesday, right? Thomas? Got the mail on Tuesday? Okay, anyway, Monday. He gave a call. I was busy. And he says, Edward, can I talk to you? I said, can you hold on for a while? I'll call me a little bit about 20 minutes later because I'm still with the patient. I didn't realize if that was an important call. If I missed that, I would have missed this opportunity. But he says, I will call you again. So he called me 20 minutes later. He says, next year, June, USM is going to conduct its exam on Sabbath. And I know you are Seventh-day Adventist. And we have one Seventh-day Adventist student in USM now. What can we do so that he or she, I think she, will not break the Sabbath? Man, this guy, for 21 years, I have not met in touch with him, only this year, and he remembered Sabbath, because he says, Edward, I remember Saturday, you always take leave, and you go to somewhere, don't know where. That was the discussion that he said. And still after that time, 2 o'clock, because in Kelantan, that time, Saturday was a full day work, and 2 o'clock, you come to the ward, see your patient, and then go back home. Something funny about you. And there was a bit of talk among the interns, why this guy so funny? Every Saturday will take leave. And then he told me about this. This exam, we never had it before, but we're going to do it the first time next June because Puasa month was coming and the way the arrangements was done. What can we do for this SDA student? So I said, why don't you quarantine that SDA student? And the person to quarantine is Gary Kwan. You know Gary Kwan, right? Sean is, Steve Kwan's, Shin Keng's son is over there. Why don't you use Gary Kwan, help him quarantine this student, and right after sundown, do exam. He says, will the student mind or not? Will this affect his performance? I said, no. In fact, I think as an SDA student, he'll be so appreciative. It's actually a she. Will be so appreciative of that fact. Influence. How many of you give positive influence? I didn't know that this will happen 21, 22 years later on. And I pray that every time, every day, any time that you go, you will give a positive influence. You will not be like those advisors that gave King Ahasuerus lousy, if I can use the word, advice, or be a lousy influence. With that, thank you and God bless.